Hello, welcome back to the vlog. I hope you're doing really well. Today's vlog, I thought I'll talk to you about taking care of oneself. I feel like there are two things you need to think about. One is all the big picture stuff and asking yourself the rude questions of are you happy with your life and what do you want to change about it? And then subsequently the smaller scale daily activities that you're doing. So they are very much interrelated, but it's essential that you first figure out the big picture stuff. I will talk about this a bit later in the video where I give you examples of how that applied to me in my life, but I think I should give you some context. So essentially, like from a year to like a few months ago, I was finding it so difficult to do basic things like working out, being consistent with my skincare. Literally even applying moisturizer on my body every day would prove to be so challenging. While taking care of yourself is tough, especially when you don't know what you need, I actually realized that it's also quite simple. I think it's just about like starting to tune into yourself and, like I said, asking yourself these big questions and forcing yourself to answer them, not immediately but over time, realizing the answer to them and making few big and small changes. And for that you really need to tune into yourself, either by journaling or maybe even therapy, even by just talking to your friends. You just need to start listening to that inner voice, that's that gut feeling that people talk about, and start honoring it. Like literally just start doing things that the inner voice is telling you to do. And I think that can make like a big difference. And the more I feel like you start listening to your inner voice and start honoring it and doing things according to that voice, at least for me, I felt like I started gaining the strength and energy to then be able to do the smaller things that was seemingly so exhausting. So a while back I kind of came to this conclusion that I should probably start like trying to manage my energy, and in the big picture sense that essentially meant removing or purging my life of the things that I felt like were draining me of energy, which I'm sure you've heard of, like energy givers and energy takers. So a couple of things that were really like draining my mental space was having a day job. Not that the day job was bad, but just the concept of having a day job alongside doing Instagram felt extremely draining. So that's one example. I obviously had to change that aspect, so now I no longer have a day job, and that also meant I'm able to do content full time now, which gives me that energy and space to creatively think about content. So another example was also things like exercising for myself. Like I would usually exercise by myself, and that felt very draining given my life was so hectic back then. So I stopped, like completely stopped going to the gym because it felt so exhausting to even think about going to the gym. And now that I don't have that hurdle, or like I don't have that drain on my head all the time, I reintroduced exercising into my life, but in the form of Pilates. Another thing that was really draining my energy was managing myself, because alongside having a day job I was also trying to handle all brand collaborations by myself, because I was in between managers at one point and I couldn't find somebody new, and that was really draining me so much. Like after doing so much work in the daytime, I still had to come back and check emails, reply to brands, shoot videos, edit and send it to them, script the videos before actually shooting. It was just a lot, and since then I've managed to find someone who helps me on that front, and that's been like so helpful. So once the big stuff is out of the way and you feel somewhat happy and comfortable with where things are in your life, that's when you can start to really indulge in those smaller activities that get super romanticized on Instagram, that you see all the self-care girlies are like doing and posting about. Things like journaling, things like doing your skincare every day, changing up your products even depending on your skin's need, that also requires brain space to think about. And even having an elaborate shower and hair care routine, burning incense, finding a workout that you actually enjoy, listening to podcasts. These are very romanticized activities, I'm aware, but you can only have the energy to do these things when you are happy with where your life's at. And that is something you should prioritize, because that is the taking care of yourself that no one really talks about. Even changing up your routine, traveling, going on a trip, meeting your friends, these are all really soulful, and they can really make you feel like you are like a actual functioning human being. I don't know what other words to use to describe that, but yeah, that's I think like what life is about. Honestly, I didn't even have this trip planned. I genuinely just felt in my gut that I needed to be in Chennai for a few days. I'm so happy that I did. I've had the best time. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Make sure to subscribe. Bye.